President Dlamini Zuma, who is on a 4-member committee, has promised to resolve the River Nile water crisis within the African continent, where the river passes through to pour out in Egypt. The River Nile is the longest river in Africa and moves from Uganda, South Sudan to Egypt, and has had a long history of disagreements on who has more rights when deciding how it should be managed to mitigate climate change and eventually used for hydropower.
Coming from Uganda, you have the Victoria Lake, huge. Is it possible that we could say this belongs to the continent, as well as the Nile River, which then argues very competently that water must be shared? So these are issues which are no longer difficult. If, for an example, with the Nile River, there are specific agreements which were done way back. With the new developments and the new challenges we might have as a continent to look at those agreements, how much they indeed satisfy the needs of the citizens of the continent.
In 10 to 20 years, more than 1 billion people will not have access to clean water. And already 1.8 billion consume infected water and 2 billion have no sanitation to enjoy clean water. The newly formed United Nations High-Level Panel Committee consists of an additional president of Hungary, Janos, Ader, Ms. Sheikh, Hasina, Prime Minister of Bangladesh, and Dr. Seung, former Prime Minister of South Korea.
Water hazards and climate vulnerability. We need to invest heavily in resilient and innovative infrastructure for effective use of water.
A fervent Zuma also emphasized the need for Africa to fight corruption. If the Water Fund United Nations was going to create to assist member nations to utilize what was going to materialize as a project that would deliver to people still failing to access clean and safe water.
Corruption will be fought wherever it is, whether it is in water, whether it is in any other thing. So it will be fought. Where people know there is corruption, they need to report that so that it could be addressed very directly, particularly when we talk about water.
We accept that water is
Andrew Channel 44 News, United Nations, New York.